Should you own a gun? Well, I definitely think that you should have means to protect yourself and family. I think it's you could either call it a God-given right or just a basic human right, whatever you want to call it, a natural right. But whatever you want to come to a conclusion is that when you're pushed up against a wall and someone's actually threatening your life and you believe it, you're going to want to fight back. And something's wrong with you if you don't. So what you have here is guns or weapons and the choices that we have now in the modern day. There's a lot of different variations and stuff that you can pick from. But let's just settle on, firearms. Should you really own one? I think that it gives you a good capacity to repel a threat. It's a force multiplier, obviously, and it gives you a lot of options to protect yourself and family against numerous people at one time. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of controversy about, okay, so I should probably have a firearm. And it's a pretty easy conclusion to come to if you're aware of what is out there in the world that could threaten you. But there's a lot of people who say, well, how many should I have? Or should I have more than one? And we've talked about this a little bit, but there's different kind of guns for different kinds of situations. Maybe a concealed carry, handgun. It would be a lot different than a long arm, such as a shotgun or rifle. And so I would probably say that you probably would want to have several, actual firearms so that you can have several different needs met. Concealed carry or, open carry, if that's what you feel comfortable with. That could be one option. So you have something on your person. And then a long arm, preferably probably like a semi-automatic rifle, 5.56 or above caliber for home protection or for your car or vehicle. That's going to be make a lot of sense. And so now, if you're into shotguns, then go with the shotgun too. But just remember, there's some limitations with that you don't find with actual semi-automatic rifles. So that's the thing here. How many guns should you have? And so I'd say at least one handgun minimal with at least a handful of magazines. And I'd probably say at least one rifle with a handful of magazines as well. And these magazines should have loaded bullets in it. It's the whole point, to have the bullets in the magazines ready to go. And then lastly, I'd say if you're into shotguns, maybe a shotgun for maybe just hunting purposes, or as maybe a backup if your long arm was to, like your rifle was to be taken or stolen or whatever. But I'd personally say go with a second long arm in terms of a rifle. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm not into shotguns at all, but I'd rather have two rifles than two shotguns. And some people are like, oh, but it's the devastation of the shotgun, a 12 gauge, triple odd buck, it's going to really blow the hole right through anything. And that might be true. But you have a lot more usability, though, with maybe like an AR-15 or even an AK-47 or 47 or whatever you're into. Those kind of things are going to probably be a little bit better overall. In terms of the home, though, if you're using one for your personal protection in the home, definitely have a long arm instead of a handgun for your primary weapon. You want stopping power right then and there, and you're not going to really get that with a handgun. Yes, you can kill people with one shot with a handgun, but a rifle is going to pretty much guarantee it. Now, going back to the next option would be, the shotgun in the home. Once again, you have a lot more recoil, less carry capacity in terms of the shells than you would with the rifle with the box magazine fed. And so yes, there are some drum fed shotguns and all this stuff. And but I think for the most people, though, it's just more practical to get a decent semi-automatic magazine fed rifle for your home. Now, you also have to keep in consideration, though, what kind of caliber for the rifle. You don't want to over-penetrate, especially if you live in an apartment or if you live in a suburban area, because bullets can go through homes. And so you have to be careful with that. So that's why I would probably stick with maybe like a 223, 5.56 for your rifle. Those pretty much will do what you need, but they have minimum over-penetration. So that's just some thoughts there. So we've come to a conclusion now with this video that you should own a firearm, probably several, because they all have different uses. And let's not be, ignorant to the fact that there is not one tool that actually solves all problems. And for some people, who say, well, I got my Glock, and my Glock's going to take care of everything. I'll hunt with it and defend my house with it. And I got extended magazines, those 33 rounds from my 9mm. And man, there's no way that anybody's going to hurt me. I got my Glock. Well, that's good you have your Glock, but there's going to be people that are going to be able to have a lot more range than you and take you out. And you may not even be able to hit them, not just because you have a short sight radius and you're not going to be able to actually hit them with your gun, but maybe your bullet won't even reach them, even if you could aim at the right spot, because they're going to be shooting possibly with a high-powered rifle. And so just think about all those limitations that every firearm has. Some of them are bigger than others, some are smaller. Some of them are just really, really heavy, some of them are not. Some people, use different bullets, and some bullets go out further than others. Some bullets have more devastation than others in terms of its effect on humans. And so you have to just be aware of that, of the limitations of everything. For all my friends that live in a country, though, that is ruled by a repressive government and limits their freedoms and liberties to own a firearm because they don't trust you, I feel bad for you. And there's a lot of places, even in America, that limit your freedoms to do certain things and to carry certain weapons. For you, and also for those Americans that are living in a communist area, I would have to say do the best you can to use the arms that will give you the best results. And I'm not going to say or to say or not to say that you should or should not obey those draconian laws or those unconstitutional laws. That's up to you. But I will say, though, that you're within your rights, I think, that from every level and every type of rationale to protect yourself. And if you live in a place, though, that really outlaws the right of self-defense, I'd be moving away from that place like in a heartbeat. Of course, that's not always practical. Sometimes you have your whole life in a place and all the people are going to be there and you would miss everyone. And starting over in life is a real kind of a difficult thing. So I understand and respect that. But just remember, though, when it comes to protecting yourself and your family, that's your responsibility. And any excuse you have by saying, oh, well, I'm here because all my family and everything is here or my job's here, you're not going to be thinking about that when the grid's down or the economy crashes and there's looters and all kind of marauders around and you just happen to find yourself with no weapon because, all the weapons are pretty much banned. So it's your responsibility to go to a place that's free. Your responsibility to find yourself armed and to train yourself. And that's all I can really say about that. So you guys take care. Catch you real soon.